Okay, sorry about that. So, just to recap from the last video, not that you need it because you've literally just watched it, but what we have is we are going to do an experiment to find out what happens when we change our angle of incidence. Okay, so you're going to set it up, you're going to do the practical, just like I showed you, and you are going to repeat it. Okay, so your independent variable is going to be your angle of incidence, and it's lovely because the eyes match up, because that's what you're going to change. And you are going to measure it at least 3 times. Now you do need to write down a method, so you can either rewind a bit and write that down or get to the end and write it in your own words. I don't mind. Okay, so you're going to set up the practical equipment like I showed you. You are going to measure, you're going to do an angle of incidence, put a mirror there and mark out the angle of reflection. And you're going to do that 3 times. And you need to do at least 3 different angles of incidence. Okay, so in total you'll be measuring 9 angles of reflection. I don't mind if you want to do it on the same diagram sheet, that's absolutely fine. Or you might want to do a small sheet and do a different one for each experiment. That is also absolutely fine. If you want, you can do 4 or 5 angles of incidence. I'm not too worried about how many you do, as long as it's at least 3. So what I need you to write down is what you're going to do, your method. You've just seen me do it. Okay, go back to the other video and write down what I'm doing. Okay, write down your method. Write down what your variables are. Okay, so you've got the independent variable, which is the angle of incidence, the dependent variable, which is the angle of reflection that's coming off. And then you've also got the control variables. These are the ones that you keep the same. So start thinking about, are you going to be using the same ray box? I know that we made a very simple ray box, but are you going to be using the same one? Or are you going to change it? Are you going to be using the same light source, or are you going to change it? Are you going to change your protractors and mirrors? Okay, so what sorts of things are you going to keep the same? All right, if there are any questions, please let me know. So I also need you to copy the diagram that I drew. So let's go back to the diagram. And as I say, if you don't do the practical today, that's fine. But we will need to get some data. I do have some data for next lesson that I can share with you, because obviously I'm doing the practical as well. But what we need to figure out, and you might have figured this out already, okay? But I want you to figure out the relationship between the angle of incidence is what the angle of reflection. Okay, so what relationship do these two have? Is this one greater than, equal to, or less than this one? Okay, there's a bit of a hint. So it's going to be one of those 3. So what relationship do they have? That's what we're going to figure out with this practical. So you might be able to figure it out today and tell me, or you might just do your best guess. And finally, I'm going to leave you with a star task. Okay, and your star task is simply this. You are going to try and do some mirror writing. Okay, and mirror writing is writing which you can read in a mirror. So the front of like ambulances and police cars have this. I'd quite like to know why you think that is. So why the front of an ambulance has the writing on backwards. And I want you to write me a message. Just like this. You don't have to write me the same message. You might want to write your own. But there we go. I've got a mirror writing, and if we take it over to the mirror, we can see if I've done a good job with it. So there we go. My mirror writing has a secret message. I'm sure you can read it now. I've held it up to a mirror. So that's your star task. Send me a message. Okay. Take care, and I will be live at 11:15 if you've got any questions. You can also email me whenever you like, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Take care, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.